Okay, so we're going to be using our shirring foot today. It's this one that I have installed on my machine. In order to set up the settings for the shirring strip or the shirring foot, you're going to want to bring your stitch length all the way down to what is known as a basting stitch length. So that's all the way down to the very bottom, and that will give you a really long stitch. Then you want to, now if you have a tension guide or tension setting that has numbers on it, that's very helpful, because you would be able to look at your setting, get an idea as to what number you're on, and you can even write it down on a piece of paper, which I would encourage because you might not remember what it was after some time goes by. So if you have your tension normally at like 4, then you want to go ahead and you want to increase it. So on my machine it doesn't have that, so I'm going to need to go ahead and I'm going to increase it by bringing it like from my fingers at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and I'm going to bring them up to the 12 and 6, and then I'm going to do that again, so 2 times. And then another thing that you can do is you can reset this so that it is a little bit, like I just unscrewed it twice, so it's a little bit looser, and that's going to help this little foot pull in the fabric at a really long stitch length, and it's going to be a tighter tension on the top thread. Notice we don't have to do anything to the bobbin thread, which is great. I know that that usually makes a lot of us nervous, but when we go ahead and sew, this foot is going to gather the fabric in faster than how it gets it released. So you want to make sure that your foot is down. I'm going to go ahead and maybe take a couple of stitches just to kind of lock your thread a little bit, and then slowly go ahead. I'm actually doing a test strip right now. This is a 5x10 test strip. I want to see what kind of length it brings it down to after I do some rows. So I'm going to go ahead and just get sewing. I'm kind of encouraging it to grab the thread. Whoops, that was a little bit too much encouraging. And I'm going to turn it, take a few stitches over. Notice that my needle's down every time I do this, and then I'm going to want to go ahead and do that again. The more rows that you do, the more shirring it does naturally, because this is already gathered a little bit. Now we're going to put it down. I'm going to go ahead and, oops, went the wrong way. I'm going to go ahead and bring it over a little bit more. I don't know if you've ever seen like dresses or shirts that have the shirring on the top, kind of like along the chest. It's really cute on a child's shirt, especially a little girl's shirt or a christening shirt or jacket. It's going to have this really pretty shirt effect. After a while, you don't even really have to encourage it much anymore, because it's just going to go ahead and do its thing by itself. You kind of don't want it to actually overlap the stitches or the fabric on top of each other, because that's going to make folds, and we're not really looking for folds, we're looking for gathers. So, for a shirred effect. So this is just, you know, giving me an idea of what it is I'm going to wind up with. And so my needle is ready to let go of everything here. The thread came through, and this is what I wound up with. So this is a really, see this part where it sewed over itself, that isn't really what I was going for. So just getting a, you know, this is not stretchy. This is not like elasticized. This is with me encouraging the stitching to be, you know, the fabric to get to the stitching was encouraged on this side and not as much on this side. So this is why we practice, so that we can see what our fabric's going to do when we start working on it. So it went from 10 inches down to 8. So that's a good thing to know. And the width, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's still the same because I did not shirr it this way. So I didn't shirr it this way, you know, going up and down this way. I only shirred it going this way. So that is how to use the shirring foot. So you can go ahead And you want to take your light block piece and you want to cut it a little bit bigger. Now that you know over a 10-inch width, it's going to bring it down a couple of inches. So you're going to want to just make a piece a little bit bigger than you would want to make it. And you can decide if you want to shirr it this way and this way, or if you just want to shirr it one way and not the other. It's up to you. This is your project and your black, and you can do it whichever way you want. So I'm going to go ahead and work on mine. What I did for my piece. I think that looks kind of interesting. I started up in this corner and I just kind of did a sort of like a waved line, and then I kind of turned around, and the points where the wave came in, I was trying to kind of go the same sort of direction, so it's kind of going in and out and in and out, so it's kind of parallel, and came back down, and I just kept on going up and down with this wavy line around a number of times, and then I ended up here. And once that is kind of pressed down a little bit, I just think that, I mean, I know it kind of looks wrinkled, but it's the shirring look. It's the shirred effect. If this is not something that you like, if you would rather have it look more like a real shirred look that you would see on a garment, then you can just do your whole black with straight lines, and you can go ahead with that. You could try to do some going this way and then some going this way and see what that kind of thing looks like. So just experiment, have fun with your shirring foot, see what you come up with. I would love to see what it is that you did with your shirring foot, and please share it with our group. I know that this was a short lesson this week, but the shirring foot is pretty straightforward, and I really hope that you enjoyed this and are encouraged to go ahead and try making a black with your shirring foot with your light fabric. And then next week we'll go ahead and we'll do the next black. See you then.